Terry Kirk from Urbana, Missouri starts in 13th. The 4R of Jared Russell's out of Wagner, Oklahoma, starting in 14th. Brent Smith out of Rutherford, Tennessee, will start in 15th in the number 11. Tracy Wolf from Buffalo in the 16th starting spot. Daniel Franklin and Jeff Cutshaw make up row number 9. Tyler Grooms and Jesse Willard back in row 10. The rookie, White Gajero, in the 15W starting 21st, and it's Jarrett Dotson, Chase Jones, Lucas Dobbs, Shane Creech, and Donnie Fellers.
Well, this is an absolute murderer's row of modifieds from front to back. Blackburn, Fuquay, Hodges, Midoff, Bittiger, Wolf. They're all going to let these monster modifieds loose here. 20 laps for the Cedar Creek Beef Jerky USRA modifieds on Thursday night. Thunder. And how about Darren Fuquay dealing himself a heck of a hand to try and get out in front here and lead them the first lap around. Kevin Blackburn was blowing by people earlier tonight in the heat race. He won heat race number 3. Right now, he and the rest of the field are having a hard time to keep up with the big-time bail bonds 87 that spends most nights running with the United States Modified Touring Series. Fuquay leads the first 2 laps.
Darren Fuquay returning to Lucas Oil Speedway again. This is the test and tune for him as the caution comes out. You saw the lights there flickering in the background. As the Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew will go out and tend to Dylan McCowan, your current point leader, 6-time winner, heavy damage on the right rear. Looks as though the right front towed in. Had transmission issues after the heat race, had to get it replaced just to make the feature. Not sure if those two things might be intertwined here, but Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew will have to go out and tend to Dylan McCowan, who tore up a lot of stuff, Corey, earlier on in the year. And I guess if anyone's used to getting stuff fixed, it would be Dylan.
Unfortunately, this year it has been. He's been through a couple of motors. He's been through, I guess now this would be at least the 3rd transmission he's gone through with that problem earlier tonight. He's already replaced a rear end, 3 entire bodies. And last year when he won the championship here and was in the running for a national championship, what did he do? Break 2 shocks? Yeah. That was it. That was it. But I hate to see that car tore up. They take so much pride in coming up with those designs and the wraps for special shows like this. If you get up close to that car, you'll see that the words of the Star Spangled Banner are ghosted down the side of that car, along with the red, white, and blue patriotic wrap for Dylan. But it is an early exit for your midseason points champion, and going to be a tough night for him. But Shane, he was the one of all of our divisions here as a part of the Big Adventure RV Weekly Racing Series. He literally had a race and change on the field coming into tonight.
Since the modifieds are on the track, make sure we remind you August 6th, that is the 13th annual USMTS Slick Mist Show Me Shootout, presented by Foley Equipment. Cars and Stars of the USMTS will be back in town. Ozark Golf Cars USRA B mods and the stock cars, the supporting class. So a number of these drivers you see here will make their return, including Darren Fuquay. I'm sure Dylan McCowan will try to make a run in that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Dustin Hodges, former USMTS guy. Probably see Daniel Franklin in that.
Always a great night, always a great show when the USMTS rolls into Wheatland. We got 2 laps in here on our 20-lap USRA modified main event tonight. Blackburn and Fuquay started 1 and 2. They will end up split up. Blackburn sliding behind the big-time bail bonds 87 of your 2018 track champion here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. Fuquay will go high up on the racetrack, cut down, and say win as the Wheatland Outlaw waves the green flag. Dylan McCowan and Chase Jones both jumping up in turn number 2 and chasing the field around here after the drop of the green flag.
Oh, and something's still not right with Dylan McCowan all over the track coming off of 4.
Somebody else who is moving up the track but in control is Dustin Hodges. The 22 is hustling around the bottom of the racetrack right now as he is about a half a second. The differential between he and your race leader, Darren Fuquay. Fuquay gets a good run off the top of turn number 4 and holds on to that advantage of over Hodges by 0.4 of a second. So McCowan back to the pit area. Chase Jones all alone at the back of the pack here and in danger of getting lapped by your race leaders. The 87 and the 22 flat flying around the Lucas Oil Speedway.
And Andy Bryant in the 49 flat spinning on the top side over in turn number 4.
Don't see that very often, do you?
Fort Scott Flyer spinning around and brings out another Boone's Barbecue caution. So Dylan McCowan, who is already off the track, we mentioned earlier on that Dustin Hodges, who is sitting back in second, what else can you do? You're a full race behind in the point standings, over 100 points. Well, a major chunk of that will go by the wayside tonight as he has now exited the track, trying to check and see if anyone else had come off the track prior to Dylan. So what was a massive point lead, as you see Andy Bryant spin out there again, a massive point lead for Dylan McCowan of 114 points. Probably about half of that's going to be gone.
Everybody trying to get their spots back on the racetrack. Just 4 laps in the books so far for the modifieds. The Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew looking the racetrack over. Your race leader remains the 87, the man from Mayetta, Kansas, Darren Fuquay. Talk about the year that Dustin Hodges has had so far back behind him. 4 wins on the season, 12 top 5s. He's already doubled his win total from a year ago. Shane, this is a guy that in the 2000 teens, 15, 16, 17, 18, was a top-level late model driver, the ULMA Rookie of the Year, was a 2-time champion in 2016 and 2018. He's been racing for 12 years, and right now he is going to have a shot on this restart to try and get around the 87 of Fuquay.
And the car to his right-hand side on the way down here, we were talking about the paint scheme that Tyler Wolf had, and you make the comment, that paint scheme's going to look real good in Victory Lane tonight. That may have been before you knew Darren Fuquay was coming in.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it was there, but I can tell you this much about Tyler Wolf. When he was here for the USRA Nationals last year, we talked about how many trophies he collected here at Lucas Oil Speedway a few years ago when he was getting things rolling with his modified program. And he says to this day, I believe I've got a winning percentage around 33% at this racetrack. And I tell you what, if that was a Major League Baseball batting average, Tyler Wolf would end up in the Hall of Fame. So that's still a pretty good number. Fuquay, Hodges, Wolf, Middaugh, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Bittiger. They comprise the top 5 here again. Fuquay high in the middle of 3 and 4. Cuts down off the corner of the diamond there to try and take off and get away clean on the green flag restart. 4 across on the exit of turn number 2 with Mickey Burrell, Eric Turner, Cody Brill, and Jared Russell. Back up at the front, Hodges trying not to let the big-time bail bonds guy get away. They both go to the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2 now as Hodges tries to find the answer to get around him, but Hodges may have company. Tyler Wolf and that Captain America looking red, white, and blue, the Fantastic Four, flies off of turn number 4 now. Those 3 cars trying to break away and get some breathing room between themselves and Nick Bittiger and Ryan Middaugh and Shane. Those two guys, Bittiger and Middaugh, are here every week. They both run extremely well here.
Flying Ryan, a win already earlier on this year, had an interesting heat race earlier on, but now he is back out, chance to run for the top 5. And then Nick Bittiger, a driver that is honestly disappointed when he doesn't win. Some drivers, whenever you come in, consider winning a luxury or winning just a highlight.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't win at least a couple of times during the year, he considers it a failure. He righted that last year, been able to pick up a win. He's sitting top 5 right now. Win may not come tonight, as the two cars up in front starting to get even closer, as Hodges now just 2 car lengths behind Darren Fuqua.
That translates to 0.3 of a second on the racetrack as we near the midway point in our third of 4 A features for you tonight here at the Diamond of Dirt tracks and live on Racing Dirt. Fuqua and Hodges off of 4 again, and this time Fuqua gets a little bit better run, gets another 1/10 of a second over the 22. No luck so far, though, for Tyler Wolf, talking about trying to get up and make it a 3-car race. As you see Fuqua take his turn right through the middle that time, and Fuqua stands on the floor. And Shane, the last 3 laps, he has added a 1/10 of a second on 3 straight laps now, as he starts to try and just pull away a little by a little each time from the 22 of Hodges.
Ryan Middaugh has now cleared Nick Bittiger, and now Jason Pursley starting to slide up and getting into the mix, as the principal from just down the road in Hermitage, about 8 miles or so. And now Nick Bittiger on the high side. I think Ryan Middaugh may have had a little bit of an issue over there in turns 1 and 2, opening the door for Nick Bittiger.
Bittiger bears down on him. Middaugh, the winner of heat race number 3 tonight, and Bittiger will get around Buttonbuck. He gets around the 21, slides down in front of him, and now Middaugh finds himself in between Bittiger and Jason Pursley. Those 3 jockeying for positions 4, 5, and 6. Tyler Wolf with 3rd place, all to his lonesome in car number 4 in that Army-sponsored red, white, and blue ride. Meanwhile, the differential remains about a 1/2 a second between the top 2 cars on the pylon. It's still Darren Fuqua hooked up around the top of the racetrack, and Dustin Hodges trying his hand at the low side here, catfishing through 1 and 2, and he gets a great run that time. Pulls up alongside the 87, and now Shane, they are going to come upon the great equalizer here. Lap traffic, Dotson putting a picker on there right in the middle. Hodges has to go to the bottom of the racetrack. Fuqua to the top. A lot of trouble for those 2 to clear the lap 247.
Well, Jarrett Dotson was right in the middle of the track, and it looked as though Hodges was going to be able to get the better of Darren Fuqua because of where the lap traffic was, but Fuqua able to hold on. And now Shane Creech will do a much better job of staying way to the inside and let the leaders work around him to the right.
Hodges gets around the 28 of Creech. Fuqua continues to fling the car off the top of turn number 4, but everything will freeze now as the yellow lights illuminate around the racetrack. It's another Boone's Barbecue Barn caution. This one coming out for the 247. That is the aforementioned Jarrett Dotson out of Baxter Springs, Kansas. We were just chronicling his race with your race leaders just moments ago, and now he brings out the caution. Tracy Wolf will take the 21W Pizza Glen sponsored red and white hot rod back behind the wall. Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew going to pick up some things that they have spied around the racetrack. We will have a shootout to the end here with Fuqua, Hodges, and a big opportunity now, Shane. We've been talking about Tyler Wolf riding alone in 3rd all night. Nick Bittiger back behind our race leaders picked Wolf off. So the 3B and the 4, we'll see now where they were position wide when the caution came out, but they will be right there with your top 2 cars in Fuqua and Hodges.
Well, on those last few laps, Dustin Hodges was actually turning in better lap times than Darren Fuquay, and Nick Benninger was right there amongst those top 3 times, even though he was a full 2 seconds further back than where Dustin Hodges was. Obvious Nick Benninger starting to find the better line and find some speed and catch up with the top 2, and now it'll be interesting since they're jumbled back up and all nice packed tight up front, if Nick Benninger can have anything for the top 2 cars.
3B out of Perry, Kansas. His best finish here this season. He was a runner-up back on June 11th in that MB Custom Mullins-powered race car. He had 10 wins in 2021, did Benninger, 9 of them coming at Lakeside. He'd love to get around a couple of cars here and find his way to victory lane as a part of Thursday Night Thunder. Everyone follows Darren Fuquay back to the green flag. Striegel lets him go here. Fuquay not going to change a thing. Throwing that 87 up around to the top of the racetrack. He has had his best run off of turn number 4 out of everything tonight, and that gives him a half a second advantage over Dustin Hodges. Hodges now, not only does he have to be concerned with trying to catch up to Fuquay, but with 1 lap to go, he's got to be more worried about Nick Benninger and Tyler Wolf coming up and taking away that runner-up spot. Here's Benninger to the bottom of the racetrack. Darren Fuquay flying down the back chute here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. He was your 2018 Lucas Oil Speedway champion. He was a national champion, and the Dream Crusher comes back to get the win here on Thursday Night Thunder. Fuquay finishes in the top spot. Hodges holds on to second. Benninger edges Wolf to go 3 and 4, and Buttonbuck, Ryan Middaugh make up your top 5. And there were cars up and down the grid tonight that are top 5 cars each and every week here for a regular Saturday night show. But what a fantastic field. And Darren Fuquay takes them all out. The 87 gets the win.
Tyler Wolf in 5th, Jason Pursley 6th, Cody Brill, another good run for him in 7th, Jared Russell 8th, Terry Kirk and Eric Turner rounding out your top 10. So for Nick Benninger, comes back to Lucas Oil Speedway after a 2nd place run a few short weeks ago.